like around 2 or 3 these days, so it's getting pretty cold. Very dry, gotten bloody noses recently, but that's kind of the situation, what's going on. Anyhow, hey, what's going on, Jeff? How are you? So I wanted to just catch you guys up on this past weekend. It's been a couple of weeks since I actually did a live stream. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Um, so 2 weeks ago was the whole, it seems longer, but with Konami, with her PRS signature model, and that was kind of the big thing, right? Hello, Alan. Always good to have you. So that went down, and then you also had the Zep shows, the last couple of Zep shows from Bandmade, and that's kind of what was happening in November, and that's pretty much how it ended. I actually was able to catch up with a fair number of people. Was it last week? No, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, because I don't remember where exactly I posted this, but I went to a Wagamama Rakia show. Wagamama Rakia. Wagamama Rakia. You should check them out. They're pretty good. They are an idol group, but they're not as indie as some of the other bands that are around. Oh, this one. Thanks. This was from, oh my gosh, it's old now. It's like 2019. This is when Bandmate first did their little bomber jacket thing. I like it a lot. It keeps me warm. Let me lower it just a little bit if you can see it. There you go. Got my dragons, and I believe there's a tiger on the back. I could be wrong. Hey, what's going on, Eddie? All right. So I don't know if you guys remember, or if you guys have been kind of keeping up to date with what I've been wanting to do with my what's going on with my quote-unquote career here in Japan. My goal is to sort of expand my horizons, get out of my comfort zone, try to grow my platform so that I can have more reach and have more influence with the bands that I'd like to promote. And part of that is doing things, going to shows that I normally wouldn't. And so that's what I did on the 24th. That was the week after Konami's PRS show. And it was cool. It was a cool idol group. It was at a place called the Liquid Room. And it's not something I typically would have done or gone to, but I like them a lot. And the lead singer, Hoshikuma Minami, is pretty fabulous. She's a pretty awesome singer. So check out their stuff, like Rain, Why. Melody is a bit more mellow, but I did see a few Bandmate fans from there. But I had also had tickets to Neki that night at Shibuya Eggman, which I had originally planned on going to. But if I'm honest, I liked Wagamama Rakia's songs and the singer more than I did Neki, even though I know Neki's sort of a hot thing these days. But it was in the neighborhood in Shibuya, so after I saw the show, I biked up to Neki at Shibuya Eggman, caught up with quite a few people, said hi, hello, and that was nice. So that was the whole Bandmate thing. But moving on to last weekend, I took actually the whole weekend off, which is very rare, especially this year. But I had gone to get my foot checked, and I just didn't want to take any chances, so I rested it completely. There was a show at Lifehouse Crescendo for Ares, with Hades and with Sheeglapes, a couple of my favorites. Just people-wise, I love them so much. Musically amazing, performance-wise amazing, but I decided to just rest. So that was that. Now this weekend, last night, let's start with the first one man. It was Gungire. even though it's Gun, it's not Gungire, it's Gan, because that's how you pronounce it in Japanese. So Gungire had their first one man at Antinoch, that's Shinjuku Antinoch. And when I first went in, I was surprised there weren't more people, but by the time the show actually started, it got pretty packed. And I think Gangire is pretty popular with just other musicians, particularly. Is this the case? No, I don't want to say that. I don't want to limit it, but I think the metalcore scene here in Tokyo, they're pretty close. They're pretty tight, and they do perform a lot together, especially with certain bands. But yeah, so at Gangiri show, I did see Ray and Natsuo, formerly of Bad Bubble. They are now called The Frail. Um, Here's a flyer that they were passing out after the show, so you guys can just check it out and see. So if you guys don't recognize, this is Gina, who is also with Mellows. This is Ray, the lead singer, really great performer. Natsuo, the bassist, who also plays bass for Venus. And then, if I'm not mistaken, her name was Arisa, a new addition to this group, who also plays guitar. Their first show was last week, and they actually had Kantan, who also does play. Yeah, I think I'll be there for the 24th as well. So Kantan, who is an amazing drummer, he's played for Mellows, he's played for Lost in the Flames. I mean, tons of bands, tons of bands. Amazing drummer, like really amazing drummer, but really good stuff. So yeah, they were there. Kai, the former drummer for Bright Deer, was there. I'm not exactly sure what connection they have, because she was there at the last Gangiri show that I attended. That was back like in June. And then there were a few others just around. Oh, Erica as well, from Pinkish Crown, Fate Gear. She likes to do the whole windmill. But she was helping out with merch because she's really close with Nana, the lead singer for Gangire. So the show itself went on, gosh, it started about 10 minutes late, if I'm not mistaken, 9 to 10 minutes late. And Gangire songs, they're not that long. They're pretty intense. They go all in with pretty much every single song. So the song, it's this, the set list itself, gosh, I want to say roughly 15. I'll have to check. I did record a lot of it, which I will be putting up probably in its entirety on our Patreon. If you guys are interested, if you guys join, you guys will be able to see that. But on our YouTube channel, on MNN, I will check and see if it's good enough. I'll post the live version of Encrypted, their latest single, which dropped, and the MV has been out for a couple of weeks. And as Michael mentioned, it is at 26,000 views, which is great for them. And I mean, Gangire has really, really good songs. I mean, like, all of their songs and their albums, their EPs are just really, really good. So, and when you see Donna sing and perform on stage and, you know, in the video, like, it's pretty captivating. So when the video dropped, it was around 400 subscribers, and they're now up to almost 1,800 subscribers. So just off of that video, they've added about 1,400 subscribers. So congratulations to Gangire. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that if more of these bands here in Tokyo would make more use of YouTube, I really think that they can grow more of their fan base and just accessibility to merch and everything else. But it was a great show from start to finish, which I didn't expect anything less. The funny thing with Gangire shows, it's very well known. If you know Gangire, it's a very physical, it's a very sweaty show. And you have these guys who are like, it's almost like they're ready to go to the gym. So you have these guys, and Gungire, they have their like Gungire like tank tops. So I think there was like 5 guys who were just walking around with tank tops, like, oh, just like you would if you were going to the gym, like getting ready to just get pumped up. Um, yeah, and they definitely cut loose. They got into it, which is great. Um, the cool thing about the one man is that because in its extended show, it really allows them to play more of their discography than usual, and to get into the deeper cuts, to get into the more mid-tempo songs. Um, they sang "Imperfection," which is a song I think is amazing. Probably one of my favorite songs is "While I'm Alive." Uh, there were definitely a few of them. There were definitely a few of them that were there. Yeah. So that was really great. But yeah, the interesting thing too, because kind of comparing and contrasting over this past year, and I noticed it too last year when I was, going to shows in Osaka, because I'd see, familiar faces, but more so in Tokyo because it's like everyone is there. Ah, no push-ups this time. There were no. um, so yeah, what Jeff just mentioned, some people do like to do push-ups, and I don't understand it. I don't. God forbid that somebody start doing jumping jacks like out of nowhere. Yeah, maybe like Tai Chi and Pilates on the slower songs. But that was great. Um, like Nana is really like one of my favorite vocalists. And Matsu, who is the guitarist and the main composer for the band, he really knows how to put a song together. If you listen to even his demos, they're more or less in complete form, and he's got a really strong sense of melody. He's got a really strong sense of like creating an environment, creating like a mood, um, and going hard and yet going deep and like emotional as well. And I think Nana really takes advantage of that. And because of the fact that Nana, along with the help of their friend Saskia, who's also their photographer, who helped to translate, I mean, there's some of my favorite lyrics out of any Japanese band that I've seen. It's just such good stuff. Like it's all in like they sing it like predominantly all in English, but man, it really moves you. It really, really moves you. And it's hard for me to explain just how much I connect with Nana as a singer and as a lyricist on that level. It's just such good stuff. But again, if you want hard, they go so hard, and it's such a fun time and fantastic melodies. So, yeah. And they actually had their one of their original members. They had another guitarist who had to drop out because of, I believe, health reasons. His name is Yusuke. I don't know all the details. Never really looked into it. Hey, what's going on, Steen? Um, but he was there, and what was really cool is that towards the end of the night, it wasn't too long, but towards the end of the night, he came on stage, and Lana was talking about him being there and how great it was just to have him there. And they performed Rotten Vegetables together, which I'm not sure if I heard correctly, if that was the one that he composed, one of their first songs together. But that's another great song. And so he was up there playing guitar. So then Matsu didn't have to play. And so he ended up jumping into the crowd and crowd surfed, and that was great as well. So it was nice. It was very sweet, and uh, there's definitely going to be more stuff. I mean, Gangire is relatively is a relatively newer band, and so um, I think with more word of mouth, I think they definitely are growing. I think people are definitely kind of catching on, especially with the music video dropping. So yeah, expect a lot of good stuff from them. Um, and like after the show, I pretty much took off, but then I went outside, and then Nana actually was stepping outside to talk to somebody else, and she was like, "Oh, Peter-san," and she was like, "Oh, did you enjoy the show?" I was like, "Oh, it's great. I mean, like you're amazing. Like you're such a amazing vocalist. Like I love your vocals." She's like, "Oh, really? Like thank you." And I think it's awesome that she's definitely one of the more humble and sweet um, personalities. I mean, there's a lot of them, but she's definitely up there. So, yeah, great night. But I did stand towards the back and I did record a lot of it. So, for those who are interested in seeing all of that, I will end up putting that on our Patreon. That's MNN Tokyo Plus. You will have to be a member. So, and then most likely I'll have at least one video put up and maybe a compilation of other stuff. So what's going on, Peter? How you doing? So yeah, that was that. And then today I decided, now this is kind of works a little bit interesting because early this year, it might have even been last year, where SJ told me like, yo, Dolls Box is gonna be playing like for the first time in forever. Like, you got to go to the show. Like, I'll pay for your VIP ticket. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I even checked like a few days ago. I was like, where is that email? And or like a chat that I sent to him saying that I did apply for the ticket. So the weird thing is that originally, roughly a year ago, I had been scheduled to attend the Dolls Box Gatarik Spin show, which happened tonight. But then, due to, I don't know what really, just a bad memory, just being really stupid, I ended up not attending tonight. And all the general admission tickets were sold out as well, so didn't go to that. But tonight was one of those nights where like you could really just kind of throw a stone at any venue in particular and catch a pretty good show. But tonight, Palineo had a one-man show, and they were celebrating the release of their latest album, which is really good. If you guys haven't checked it out, Palineo has their album out called Score. And what's interesting is that when you see the title of their albums and you see the title of some of their songs and you listen to their songs, you realize how much classical influence there is, like how much musicality there is. And I attribute a lot of that to Ryoto, their guitarist and their main composer. So, but it's good stuff. They really like have a nice blend of a variety of genres, and I think it's produced pretty well. So, but they were performing, and then of course there was Hades, the Hyena Cat, Yes and a few other bands at Route 14, but that was like an hour away as well. And so I was like, I still, again, still more concerned for my foot, not wanting to spend too much time outside these days. I've kind of retreated into more of my introvert mode. So I'm not really going out of my way to do all these things. So yeah, I opted to see Empress. I'm not sure how many of you who follow Eminem, did I say Eminem? MNN, actually follow Empress, or know that much. I don't think I talk too much about them, but I like them. I like them. They're a part of the Zillion Mode group, and Zillion Mode is Full Moon, it is Sirius, and it is Empress. It is those three. Full Moon being the elder statesman or stateswomen. So this is Sirius, and then this is Sumire. She was one of the newer ones. Yeah, they will be at Mayo Fest. But she's a big Bandmade fan, so she's attended a few shows and she got a couple of sunglasses. I gave her a Konami one the last time I saw her. This is Ami, really great drummer. I like, she's got this attitude that she didn't have the first time I saw her. But yeah, so Fly High, it's their EP, but this is Empress. This is their CD, Departure. And then, if you can see, Mitsuki, Iori, they were with the band the first time I saw them last year in Osaka. And then this is Rhea, and this is Mari, and they're the newer bunch. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? So I decided to see them partially because they were playing in Shimokitazawa, and it's only like a 7-minute bike ride away. But I do like them. They're just, I wouldn't say like they're in my top bands musically as far as like what I prefer to listen to, but I do like them. And whenever I talk to them and see them, like they're really sweet. I believe I was told this was the last clear file that was part of purchasing the CD at the venue today, so you can get a better catch of them. So yeah, they're more poppy. Their sound, it's like I feel like it's nostalgic, but I can't quite place the nostalgia of where exactly. The gosh, how do I say it? Like I was just listening the whole time tonight, and I thought it reminds me of like old school Korean pop, like old school Korean pop. But I would imagine that J-pop wasn't that dissimilar back then. If you listen to some of the stuff back in the day with J-pop as well, like melodically, it's very Japanese, but it's very poppy Japanese or Japanese poppy, whichever that is. But it was a fun show. It was long. I actually left early because it started at 5:30. I expected the longest it'll go is 7:30. I actually thought it would end at 7 because I forgot that Full Moon was opening for them. Or not, I don't know if it's opening. We're playing for them, playing with them. So Full Moon actually went up. And they're always a fun band to watch. Rin is actually one of my favorite headbangers when it comes to like just when she's on stage. She's the bassist of Full Moon, and the first time I saw her, I thought, man, she just really just cranks it. So good, just something about the way she just delivers. But that was a great time. They did like 5 songs. Empress went up, but they actually went on. I think they went close to 8 or past 8. So I left earlier, probably 3, 4 songs, 5 maybe at the most, before it finished. So it was really like a really full show. And one of the cool things about their show, which I know My Little Devil is doing as well, is that they actually performed the song switching instruments. So she ended up singing the song, she played bass, and then they switched. So she played drums and she played guitar. And it sounded pretty good. I was surprised. And they also had some solos, which you really, hey, what's going on? That's cool. I'm glad you got to go to the show. I kind of wish I had been there. But yeah. What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, so it was fun. It was just fun to see them do that. I think there are bands that do that every once in a while. Thank you, Eric, so much. And I get along well with her because I speak Korean with her when I see her. And her family was there actually, which was really really cool. So that was nice. And then Mitski is a fellow Beatles lover. Like the Beatles are her favorite band, and the Beatles are mine forever too. So, but yeah, they're just very sweet. I don't know. I like them. I just like them. Again, like musically, it's not. I wouldn't say like my favorite stuff, but it's good stuff. It is solid stuff, and they're definitely worth checking out and seeing. If you are more into poppy stuff. Um, but the interesting thing was that there were certain moments, like a lot of familiar faces. And what's interesting too is that you see familiar faces not only with this particular band, but with these particular bands. So this one person I saw today, I was like, oh, okay, he was at the Brider show that I went to a few weeks ago. Oh, this guy I saw last night at the Gungire show. He said hi to me. He recognized me. So there's, you know, it's interesting because it's like this massive Venn diagram, you know, not Venn diagram. And yeah, but this person has these bands. Like for those of you who actually do use Twitter, for those of you who do like frequent it, you will notice how they'll have their biography and they'll list the bands that they're into. So it's pretty, unless they're busy. Like the majority of these guys, I'm pretty sure are single, maybe divorced. They have money to spend. They go to a show every single weekend, like every single weekend, and weekdays too, like maybe after work. Um, yeah, and so there is a community that there is the very strong community, and what's kind of cool too is that it's like I don't say it's a boys club because it's not always, but a lot of times it is, and like they're so happy to see each other. They're so cooperative. Like at the beginning of tonight with Empress, they played on the screen in front of them, like in front of everyone. And because the stage was low and the screen was low, like everybody in the front and the middle, they crouched down, so that people in the back could see. Like things like that. Marty, the bassist, her mom, maybe sister, were there too, like on my side, like right in front of me. And so they kind of pulled them up to the front when Marty was gonna sing, like, for that thing. And so yeah, it's cool. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, kind of maybe understandably and naturally, I feel closest to a few guys that are in the Hades crew. Um, and they're also into like Whiskey Dust, and Sada Solo Band. So I would say I'm the closest with them. And then there are a couple of guys who are into dim rays, um, as well, that I've saw quite a bit this year as well. So good morning, good morning. So yeah, it's cool. Like even today, I on Instagram, I actually saw some post about how people who frequent live shows more are happier in life than those who don't. Um, I don't know who does these surveys. I don't know who they ask or like how that all works. But it was, you're reading this and you're saying how, and they're saying how like just the connection from the fans to the artists to the fans, and then just between the fans themselves. And I was like, yeah, I totally get that, and I think for example, what a lot of maybe bandmate fans or maybe overseas Love Bites fans or sort of the bigger bands like Nemophila, whatnot, Hanabi these days, they basically develop their community online majority of the time, and then they meet at shows, like a few shows like every year. But here in Tokyo, here in Japan, like you can go to see each other like every single weekend. I kid you not. Like your fellow fans more often than you'll probably see your grown up kids, um, more often, maybe even more often than you see your spouse because they're working at night or they're living somewhere else to work, which does happen. So it's just it's just kind of funny that way. Um, but yeah, like that's the interesting thing about Japan and Tokyo is that when you do come, you experience a little bit of it, and you experience, you know, the show and the artists. But if you stay for a while and you start going to a lot of shows, then you'll notice like there's a lot of community, there's a lot of connection, there's a lot of affection. Um, yeah, which I found first with Bandmade. And again, I can't quite say, even though I've been to tons of shows this year, I I can't say like I've connected with like a group of people, but there are certain individuals that I'm really happy to see when I see them. Like there's a certain individual with dim rays, a certain individual with mellows. Yeah. You know, there's a certain individual like with Hades, certain individuals like there's certain people you're just really happy to see and that sometimes you just, you know, connect with. And so for that, it's good. I'm glad I can talk to them, you know, for the most part in Japanese. But it's still frustrating. Like I don't know if you guys have seen John Reeves, and I'm pretty sure most of you know who he is. Like he's planning to do stuff next year here in Japan, and so he's studying a lot on Duolingo and stuff. And um, but you know, it's just like yeah, like language is so much. Language does so much to open doors and to build relationships. And sometimes I feel like I'm so grateful on the one hand that I can get as far as I can with the language that I do have. And at the same time, it's so frustrating because like I see like beyond that, you know? And I'm like, God, it's so much more lush and green and warm and just, yeah. So, but if you guys can, I mean, you know, I think a lot of you have devoted a lot of and invested a lot of your time and life to Japan and what's happening here. So if you guys can, you know, if you have the time, just keep at it. It really makes a difference. Beyond, I see it's not even N2 or N1 JLPT. It's like, because none of that stuff will really factor in. It's just like when you're just talking with people. So conversationally, being able to conversationally connect, the slang, the colloquialism, just, you know, just kind of the loose way you can just say whatever the hell you want and you can understand every damn thing that's coming to you. Like that I envy. So that's definitely encouragement to me and encouragement to you guys to do that. But yeah, so it was cool. Yes, so many nuances. Um, so much. You know, like I think I said this before, but when I was in Korea and I saw Iron Man 3 and I was looking at the subtitles and I was hearing what, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is saying. And I was like, not even close. Not even close. I don't know who was the person who was chosen to try and decipher what he's saying, but ah man. Yeah, of course. I was like one of the first people to see that. And then, like I posted it out on Twitter. That is another thing that I will bring up. The Bucci list. Bucci. Um, some guy, some YouTuber, you know, those guys. He decided to do a feature on Sally and not on Mellows, but on her other band, last one called LOC. Um, I don't know how it all worked out or what was said, but he ended up spending a lot of time with her, and due to that, um, he put together a pretty good piece on her. I wouldn't say that he's the most experienced and knowledgeable as far as the music scene in Tokyo, especially with the girl scene. Yeah. Um, for those of us who know the scene here, who have been here, who have gone to a lot of shows, we understand that he didn't totally know what he was talking about, which happens. Um, I don't behoove him for that. Like, there's nothing, there's no animosity or frustration, which I think some people feel. It's more just like, I'm just glad that Sally was given that kind of exposure and that people are more aware of a scene that more or less is captured. Like it's an aspect. It's an aspect of the scene here in Japan, in Tokyo, that was captured. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, it's gotten like close to 50,000 views within like a week's time. So I love that. And a part of me envies that, is that I want to be able to expose these bands on that level in that way. And so I need to do better. But yeah, yeah, it's a good thing. But it's funny because if you do actually scroll down, those of you who are brave enough to scroll down on comments with those kinds of videos, the ignorance that's just spewing out of people's mouths. Because yes, there is an aspect that people do go to these shows to see girls who are cute. That's true. People who deny that and like, no way, if they were wearing paper bags over their faces and like wearing potato sacks, the people who say that all the time, come on, like, stop it. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go to that extent and say it that way. Just be honest. Yeah, cute girls who play like some of the most awesome music and are some of the best musicians you've ever seen and performers you've ever seen. Like, that's a winning combo. It's like those movies where, like, there's a guy who's not only like handsome, but he's extremely talented. Like, oh my God, like that combo. That's just kind of how the world is. And so, yeah, like Japan is just full of very good looking and talented people. um, and we're just enjoying the fruits of that, of their labor. Um, but like there were comments on that video of, I read one where just saying how like people being emasculated, you know, um, people who like aren't really into like heavy metal, who are suckers, pansies, and that's why they like grovel at these, at the feet of these girls who aren't really able to play or whatever. I mean, like things like that to that extent. And but at least there's a conversation, and at least they've been exposed. And I guarantee a lot of people too, they just comment before they even watch the whole video or even look into it themselves. And that's just how it is. That's the internet. That's how people are in life. But again, it's a cool thing. Never in my life would I have thought that I would have gone into rock because of Japan, and then getting into like girl rock because of Japan, and then now being in the position where I am and like realizing that there's this whole world out there that you could really just sort of feed off of your whole life and just really enjoy, because there's just so much. But the fact that it's grown the way that it has, like I ended up starting up another Facebook account purely for the fact that I didn't want people to start freaking out and thinking I was a perv, because I was posting so much about Bandmate like every day. And there's this one girl, she's like, okay, Peter, like enough of these girls wearing maid outfits, like we get it. Like they're cute or whatever. I was like, that's not it. But going from doing that and then encountering people like in Bandmate Fans Cafe and making connections and friendships there, and then now to the point where like again there's this whole like field. There's this whole ocean of just like music, and there's no end in sight really. Um, it's pretty fabulous stuff. Um, and I definitely want to be a part of that. Um, and I'm still trying to figure out how and what is the best way. You know, one of the things that I kind of cut back on, and you know, I was going to shows like every single weekend, and like, you know, two at a time sometimes, and doing photos, but it was like getting backed up, and I was getting stressed, and I just felt like I had to do this, I had to do this, I had to do this, I had to do this. And I'm finally off of that sort of wheel. You know, this, it's a different type of hamster wheel, but this hamster wheel. And so I can just step back and go, okay, just breathe, and like just take your time and think about it. Think about what the next step should be. And I'm not totally sure what 25 was going to bring. Um, I definitely want to still bring more exposure and promote, you know, these smaller bands. But at the same time, I know that in order to be more effective, I really need a larger base, a larger platform, and have a bigger voice. And how to achieve that is kind of what I'm in the process of figuring out. How much of my time and energy and resources should go into building that overseas connection. And then, yeah, I think that's just, you know, Japanese. There's the extreme, Japan has the extreme side of sexualizing, which you all know, many of you may have seen. And then, you know, there's like the rest. Yeah. It's compartmentalized. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how much of it should go to overseas in that direction, and how much of it should be with continuing to build relationships with the bands and developing something. It's also hazy and just vague. I wish I was smarter sometimes. But yeah, anyhow, guys, like that was the weekend. Really had a great time. Just it's just constantly in movement, right? Like bands coming in, people leaving. I never really got into them. I did like a couple of the songs, but Stimulate, STMLT, the lead singer left. Didn't look into it. Again, I'm not really into them. I did like a couple of their songs. The drummer for Bad Bubble, formerly from Bad Bubble, had actually gone to them recently. Not recently, like this past year. And that was interesting. And then Almond Dot, the singer guitarist, left for them. So yes, Dim Rays does have stuff going on. They do have the New Year show, which is such a wild show at Cyclone. It's going to be from December 31st to January 1st. And it's crazy because you have Hagane, you have Dim Rays, you have Doll Parts, you have Asterism, a couple other bands that I'm just like, dude, that's wow. It's pretty cool. So yeah, and it starts like at 2 p.m. and ends like at 4 a.m. Guess who's not going to be there for all of that? Not me. So I may have to sacrifice one or two bands based on like, you know, what the order is that day. But here, let me check for you real quickly. And then I should call it a night. But here, let me just check for you. And then, oh, yeah, no, you don't do that, man. Dude, Richard, we can hang out all the time if you move somewhere like in Shimokitazawa. Those are January shows. December 17th, Shinjuku Antinoch. Oh, this is next week. When are you coming, Jeff? And you really should. One of the best ways to find out when a band is playing. Yeah, retirement is recommended. Guys, Alan's recommendation to us all: retire. It's recommended. The 21st. Okay, so Tuesday the 17th. This is going to be next week. Next Tuesday. It's at Shinjuku Antinoch. It's a short set, 30 minutes, but it's still pretty good. Broken by the Scream will be there. Dizzy Metal will be there, so you can see them again. So, again, like a lot of these bands kind of just usually end up playing together. 21st, 22nd, yes, Mayo Fest. For those of you who do not know, Mayo, Omori Mayo, she will be celebrating her birthday over 2 days because she is so popular and so beloved. She gets 2 days while everyone else gets 1. But yeah, that's gonna be a good time. Oh, this is going back to the 31st to the 1st, the New Year's show. Little Lilith will be performing as well. Market Shop Store, for those who like them. They weren't my thing when I saw them. But other bands, Whisper Out Loud, Silvertree, Maxon, Dual Creed. I really can't stand some of the logos of these names because I can't read it. Chased, R Squared, can't read that. Silhouette from the Skylit, Seek Us Need, Nakishirabe, and Red Marker. But the bands I would like to see: Doll Parts, Little Lilith, Hagane, Asterism, Dim Rays. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool lineup. But yeah. Any other questions, guys? Anything that you'd like to know? Oh, tonight as well in Nagoya, you actually had Sai Seiga and Shiglapes on the same, and Yumerika. I feel like, was there anyone else? Shiglapes, Yumerika, Sai Seiga, Diva. I can't read some of these names. But yeah, the Shiglapes and Sai Seiga have a connection too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of shows tonight. It's busy. It's busy. And I have kind of reconciled the fact that I cannot and I should not try to keep up with being that busy, especially since I have a normal job. May, I'll be here. Yeah, I'll be here. Hopefully I'll see you. Mission Soul's bestie cover. No, I saw it floating around, but I didn't. Yeah, we can actually eat together. You gotta start looking for your Saki shows now, Ellen. I just said that. I scroll down, and who do I see? Saki. I'm gonna scroll down more because, yeah, I'll start staring at the picture too long. Yeah, those of you who don't have Twitter X and you are into Japanese bands, you really should. Like, don't don't get involved in all the political bullshit. Like it's just not worth it. Because it's easy to get lost in that cesspool. Whichever side you're on, it's really easy to get caught in that. But if you really, really are into Japanese bands and you really want to just keep up with things, like, yeah, get an account. Don't rely on like people like me. I mean, you can, but it's good to kind of get some stuff for yourself. So, yeah. Gosh, I mean, we can go on and talk about all these different things, but we'll leave it at that. It's really nice. I don't know how many of you know Hina, who is, yeah, I mean, they do use Instagram as well, TikTok as well, with like the younger bands especially. But like Twitter is, because Japan is so traditional. They still have DVD players, they still have CDs, vinyl, like bills, like that'll never go away too. But Hina just posted a couple of shows, and then it's cool because I took photos of her and she used my photo and she attributed it to me, which is nice. Sometimes it doesn't happen. I accept it, but it's nice to be attributed for doing work. I'm grateful when people do that. Kind of wish the photos had come out a little bit better, but it's good enough. But yeah, a congrats to Gungire and a congrats to Empress. Gungire is definitely the band that will have more of an impact overseas and will definitely be spread more. Empress is more sort of the homegrown, like, it's a very Japanese band, but they're a fun band. They're a sweet band. I like them a lot. Yeah, like I don't actively seek them out, but when I see them, I'm happy to see them, and it's really cool to just kind of listen to them and get down. So, yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for joining me. Sorry I wasn't there last week. I don't know how it's going to be schedule-wise. I do have the holidays coming up, so this week and next week I have work. It'll be a bit busy. So there's still stuff I have to do, still videos I want to get out, but it's just tough too. But next week, let's see, next week there will be Erin, the guitarist for Full Moon. It'll be her birthday. And because of that, they're gonna have a nice big party at Ueno Otoyokocho, and Hades will be there. So, Jeff, that's definitely something that you may want to look into since you're gonna be here. I'm actually really warm right now. I took my dog out. And then I came in, I did this. So, all right, let's see what the schedule is. Okay, so next week, Full Moon, Empress, Sirius, Hades. What is this? Something from Start to Bling. There's a girl, I forgot her name, but she's Korean, but she looks very Japanese. I saw her once, but I want to talk to her because I found out she was Korean from a good friend Randall. So, wondering if she speaks Korean or she was born here and she's limited. But it should be a pretty good time. I don't know if I'll be staying for the whole thing, but there is that. And then on the 15th, I may rest, but there is also a Nekomeshi show at Shinjuku Wildside. So that may be happening, but we'll see. The foot's gotten a lot better, but yeah. I don't want to kind of take it too far or push things. So yeah, looks like Palaneo did well with their one man. Just looking at their group picture. Yeah, I'll just let you guys talk and chat. You guys do your thing in the chat. And I'll just scroll through here and kind of see what's going on. Yeah, not that many familiar faces, or not as many as I expected. No, it's fine. It's fine. You don't need me. I'm just here. I'm just here to like convene the meet. Yeah. This is your space, guys. You guys enjoy. Oh yeah. I was listening to the Distillers this week. Ah, so good. Brody. Ah, so good. Yes, DM me if you need to. It's kind of weird. Like, you know, I grew up on a lot of different types of music, but I feel like my spirit is punk. Even though I love rock, and I think rock captures my sound better in terms of like when I used to play, and just I think what I really just connect with at a gut level, it's punk. Like it's raw, it's dirty, it's incomplete, it's just, it's simple, it's just straightforward, and that's why I love Hades so much. I think Hades really captures the punk attitude. But yeah, I was listening all week to them. So good. Yeah. If I do get on stage, I would love to do one of their songs. Maybe Die on a Rope. Yeah. Oh, and then this is something that some of you don't care for. It seems like I don't know how many people are or were into Brit pop, but both Misa and Ayumi. Well, Ayumi got tickets for Oasis. Seneca Falls, good song, good song, good song. Good song. Ayumi got tickets for Oasis, and then Misa tweeted out that she was like, yeah, she wants to see them before she dies. But oh my god, yeah. That's a kind of one of the other reasons. Did I mention that? Like, I've been itching to play recently, so I grabbed out my guitar. Yes, Bride Dear Ayumi. So some of my favorite musicians are into Britpop. They're into like the whole '90s scene. So, but yeah, that's why I got these acoustic panelings as well. Is that I can, yeah, play my guitar, sing, hopefully not get in trouble. But yeah, I've been itching. I want to just get down again. I miss it. I miss it. Okay, guys, I really should get going. It's gonna be a long week. 2 weeks until I have break, but those 2 weeks, there's a lot of stuff I'm behind on, so I gotta keep things up. But yeah, again, Hades next week. I think maybe Nekomeshi, 21st, 22nd, Mayo Fest. I'll see a few of you there. On the 24th, Christmas Eve, The Frail, as I mentioned, they will be performing there. Exist Trace will be there as well. A few other bands, 29 Plus Dimension, I don't know how you say that. But then that night actually, at Tokyo Unravel, same night, there's going to be a Sally double feature of Mellows and Last One Call. So both of them are playing. So I might do that. I'm planning on doing that, but we'll see. And then yeah, my little devil probably towards the end of the year. Few stuff, but I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll definitely do another live stream next week, um, and fill you on that. Okay, guys, it has been an hour. Thank you guys for sticking around as long as you have. Um, yeah, it's good. Oh, uh, the Frail, yeah, the 24th. They're the opening band, so they'll be on like 5 o'clock, 5:30. And then in the evening, 7:30, I think, is when it starts, is Mellows and Last One Call. So I may reach out to Sally's management and see if I can do photos for maybe Last One Call. Because I know Mellows has their own stuff and they're a bit more strict with that kind of stuff, but we'll see. Yeah, Sally, she's good to see. If you have not seen Sally play live, come to Japan and see Sally play live. Thanks, guys. If you have any follow-up questions, please comment below. Don't forget to like these things. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed. And then what else? Yeah, join our Patreon. There is just a tip, just $2 a month to help support our channel. That way I can, buy stuff like subway tickets and just tickets and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, I'm getting delirious. I'll see you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. If you guys are not doing well, please hang in there. Winter can get a little bit like dark, so stay chipper, stay hopeful, and yeah, 600. So guys, take care. I'll see you again. Thank you so much. I'm losing it. Bye, guys. You guys have a good one. I will. Thank you so much.